Welcome to PDR Tool Time. We want to take a moment to thank our sponsors that bring this great content to your listening ears week after week. B&D Tools, innovative PDR accessories for PDR professionals.
Edgy Tools, the king of PDR accessories that get the job done.
CBDdirectoils.com. It's not marijuana, kids. It's perfectly legal relief for all your aches and pains. Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is episode 189 with your host, Vince D'Alessandro and Daniel Grom. We're coming to you on a Thursday evening. How you doing, Daniel?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
It's been, the weather has changed. Fall is here. It's in the air, and it's a whole different vibe. It's kind of a weird thing because I think everybody feels it, and it kind of settles down because I was like super busy, and then as soon as that weather changed, it slowed down a bit, not a lot, but a bit.
Yeah.
But it's a great time of year, man. I love, if anybody's ever coming to San Francisco for a visit, come in September, because September is fantastic at San Francisco. It's the only time of year that is nice in San Francisco. You come in July, you'll freeze your butt off.
In July?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
you'll freeze your butt off in July. I swear to God, the fog comes in, it's always cold. September is the time to come.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, it's always the same down here in Southern California, hot.
Yeah, it's always nice there.
Yeah. We go through all four seasons in one day in the wintertime. So that's about it. Otherwise, it's hot. So
how's business? Business good?
The business is good. We're rolling along. I had a great week. I had a great great estimate come in on a Maserati door, Quadriporto. What's the other one? Gran Turismo, GTS. Yeah, it was GTS. Yeah. Really nice. It was an insurance job, and Mobile Tech RX got me all the money that I needed out of it.
Woohoo!
It's it was a case study, and I won. It's winner, chicken dinner. Everyone's a winner. Insurance, me, the customer gets his car back in 2 days. I get paid, and customer does.
Aluminum panel?
No, actually, it was steel, and very good steel. Not like the regular, like Jabilis.
Like Mercedes steel?
Yeah, it was really
older Mercedes steel.
It was a 19-inch crease on the door through the brace, and it actually came out really sweet and beautiful.
Isn't that weird? How you think the steel would be more consistently the same, but like the newer Mercedes, the steel has changed. I think it's more high strength steel or something. But like probably like 5 years back, Mercedes steel.
Yeah.
Man, it's like a dream. You get a door ding and you push right on the center and it just like comes out one push.
Yeah, it's weird going back and working on older cars after you've been working on high strength steel for a while and aluminum panels. The older cars are a breeze.
Now, how do you know? I want to hear what your thoughts. How do you know when it's high strength steel?
The springiness of it. When I'm making a push and my test push is barely moving, or I don't see movement, I have to twist harder. It's a total feel thing for me. That's how I generally know. Yeah,
I can hear the difference if I'm using my 144 hammer metal on metal and I hit it. It totally sounds different. I can tell.
Oh, really?
It sounds different, and it springs different. It bounces differently.
Yeah.
There's definitely but what I would love, I wish Mobile Tech RX would tell you it was spring steel.
Yeah, well, maybe. You know what? There's so many cars out there, and you know what? It varies, man. I found that with Audi. I would walk up to an S5 or S6 thinking, oh, it's aluminum. They're always aluminum. And one right next to each other, one would be aluminum and the other one wouldn't. I don't know how they gauge that. It's bizarre. Audi is notorious for that. That's why I carry a wallet with a magnet.
Do you think it's different model, RS and,
usually the
LS
regular ones, the regular ones are steel, except for the hood is usually aluminum. And then when you get into the S's and the RS's, they're usually aluminum. But I'm finding that it varies. There's no consistency with it. So I don't know, maybe one made in Germany opposed to one made in Austria or something. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Who knows how many factories they have. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but what I did get a chance to do is I I don't get to use the tequila hand tools all that much. Now, I'm not talking about the 7/32. I'm talking about the big tequila hand tools, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And those suckers are great. I know a lot of the hail guys use them. There's a ton of hail guys using them out there. But for the door dingers, I found myself using them to get into really strange areas on cars. Usually down in quarter bed or quarter panels, down all the way down to the edge of the wheel wells. I'm able to get them in there because they're curved, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So they go to the contour of the car, and they're not leaving snail trails getting there, and it's creating its own leverage point off of that curve as well.
Sure.
So it's working there. I busted them out today on the Maserati door because I had the door off the car and on a hood stand. And, it's a long friggin' door, right?
How was it taking that door off? Because, Maserati, I honestly think, oh my God, it's going to be a nightmare.
It wasn't.
Really? Okay.
It's a plug and play situation and 2 8mm bolts. And then the thing that doesn't allow you to open up the door all the way, that was actually, there were 10mm. There were 6 10mm bolts and a plug and play at the door.
How were you accessing inside?
I was accessing through the window. So I took out the window ahead of time before I took the door off.
Okay, so you took off the panel, out the window.
Yeah.
Wow, a lot of work.
A lot of work, but I also got $1,900 to fix a 19-inch crease.
Yeah.
So, which took about 2 hours.
Yeah.
So the other thing that was helpful besides the tequila tools,
they're paying for your expertise, not for your time.
Yeah, exactly. That and I finally got a good shot at the Dead Center Crease tabs from Keco.
Aren't they great?
They're great.
Yeah, it's like, what's funny is I took some Dalren and I took my little Dremel and I basically made that design and I sent it down to Steve. This was years ago. This is before, I don't think this is like, really back before there was any crease tabs at all. And I sent it to him and I go, these work, it was crude and ugly looking. And he argued with me, no, it needs to be wider. It needs to be wider. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It works.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't make them. And now I laugh because, I'm like, I was right.
Most of us have been cutting our oval Worth tabs for years. When the Worth tabs came out, you cut the wings off of it and you had a nice crease tab. But now with the hard plastic like that, they're very effective.
Yeah, they work frigging really well.
Yeah.
I see some of them breaking. Guys may be complaining about that, but
it's made of plastic.
More.
It's a consumable, just like glue.
As long as you get 5 pulls out of it, you should be happy.
Yeah. Well, it's like glue. It's a consumable. How many times do we collect our glue dots and reuse them? I'm sure there's guys that do that though.
Right.
So now that you've had a couple tools in your hands that you bought at MTE or got or whatever, what's kind of jumping out at you right now?
Actually, the extensions I got for my fender tool
from B&D.
Yeah, from B&D. I didn't have those, so I just got those in the mail from him, and I got it all set up. And where I'm using it is on fenders on motorcycles.
Oh, nice.
And I had a vintage aluminum fender from a 1970 Yamaha enduro bike, and that extension let me get all around that fender really well. Lots of control, but you can also pivot the feet, and they're nice and wide, so you get a good view of what you're working on. You have lots of control, lots of more leverage than you need, and I still need to get my skill level up at using them and what tips I'm using too.
Yeah.
So I'm playing around with what's the winning combination. I've tried out the pivot tips, which I really like, the rubber pivot tips.
Sure.
But I almost want like a pivot tip that was a hard plastic.
Mm-hmm.
That would be kind of nice on that aluminum.
Well, I'm going to give you a suggestion because I know you used the phenolic sharper tip or bullet tip, but
I like that.
I have a phenolic mushroom tip.
Yeah, I have that one.
You do. I use that all the time on tanks. All the time on tanks. It's a great tool.
Yeah, I've tried that. The root beer. There's a root beer kind of, and I've taken it to the bench grinder.
Oh, that's Hudson calling. I'm hanging up on him. Sorry, everything happened at one time.
Yeah, a little late to the game. So I took it to the bench grinder and flattened it a little bit more and polished it out. So
nice.
That works really well. But having those pivot tips when you're on a fender, it self-centers itself and levels itself, and that works really well.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I posted a picture of it, and the guy goes, "Oh, well, the Shane Jack's edge jack has way more leverage." I'm like, "Hey, no, that's totally different tool. This is the Fender tool, not an edge tool, and you would never get that edge tool to work on a Fender. It just wouldn't happen. It's two different categories." So, I'm just really digging it. I think there's a lot more possibilities with that thing.
Yeah. Well, cool. I haven't gotten one yet. I haven't. I had Mike.
Yeah, he's only next door to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He comes over every day and has lunch with you. I get that you don't have that tool.
No, and actually, he came.
What
over
is wrong with you?
Can you could you go ahead and send another invite to Hudson?
Yeah.
So for some reason, it's not working.
He's not getting in. We need our Hudson.
So what we're going to do today, we're going to kind of close out the chapter of MTE Vegas in the past here. We're going to bring Sheldon on. Sheldon Kaye is the director of MTEs, plural, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about his take on what he thought of Vegas and what's coming up in Orlando, which is really, it's only a few months away at this point. Right. Daniel?
Yeah. And there's lots of stuff that I want to talk about with that whole thing. We don't know anything about this new venue because it's going to be a new venue. So we want to talk about that and ask them some questions and what everybody can expect, kind of try to get people prepared and excited about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm excited. I got Branson coming around the corner. I got MME in Colorado coming around with the IMI there. That's going to be great. If you guys are in the Greeley area or Colorado, sign up on AnsonPDR.com under training for that. So we have, if you're thinking about doing, I've had a lot of people contact me lately. Few in Southern California, East Coast, a lot of East Coast guys. I'm trying to get out there, and we're going to put something together. But for right now, if you're in the Greeley area for in October here for the Mega Media event, I'm doing it on a Sunday. You could come to that one. If you're going to Branson, you could get over there to Branson as well. And we'll be doing that on Thursdays. So keep a lookout on pdrtooltime.com or look on ansonpdr.com. And you'll see all those dates that are important if you're thinking about doing the IMI electric vehicle certification. It's coming. It's coming in a big way, guys. Big way. And all of a sudden, I'm getting a lot of calls about it.
I actually just got my first power down. I got Tesla, and the right rear quarter panel. The power port is part of the tail light. So anybody working on a Tesla, the power ports are in the driver's side quarter panel. And if you're working on that quarter panel, you want to power it down, and you want to, get that money for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. People are thinking it is a safety thing. First and foremost, we don't want you to fry yourself. We don't want you to damage components in the car. But secondly, you guys need to be charging for this. You're talking something that's going to take you, 10 minutes each way and be able to maximize your money off of it. You could charge the actual power down procedure, which is 1 hour mechanical, and then R&I to get to the plugs and turn off the 12-volt battery. These are all chargeable things that all insurances will pay you. They will not give you grief at all. So get on it. contact me if you need some more information as well. So
Definitely.
we have Hudson. He probably can't hear us, or he can't, or we. Can you say something?
I can hear you now.
Okay, sweet.
There you are.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Well, we were just going over a couple tools that we've had in our possession for a while. The Dead Center Crease tabs. We talked about those. We talked about the B&D extensions. The Tequila hand tools, not the 732nds, but the hand tools with their crazy bend is great. What have you been using lately, Hudson? That is jumping out at you.
What's jumping out at me?
Stand out. Besides the wedge, the inspection wedge, I'd use that every day.
I have been, you know what I finally picked up at MTE Vegas was the B&D edge pliers.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
I've always had the edge jack. I was like, well, whatever, I have those. But I found myself, as the edge jack is very strong and very capable, but I found myself using it less and less simply because like I didn't want to have to pull out my entire glue pulling system.
Right.
So I decided to go ahead.
Have a dedicated tool that does
have a dedicated tool, and the thing is, it's so easy. I just pull it out and boop, 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 boom, good to go. It's so quick, way more efficient, and that's where I am right now in my career. After 13 years, I'm like, I get it. Like this is a $200 tool. I have a tool that does the same thing, but how many seconds or minutes am I going to shave off of my repair time using this tool over the other tool I already have? And what that does is that means less time at work, more time at home with my kids, also make money faster. And it's legit. Like I'm not talking because B&D sponsors us. I'm talking simply because I'm really happy with it. It's been very, very effective. Yeah. So it does the job.
It does.
And for those that don't know, this year at the Vegas MTE, because he was so close and he was able to drive, he brought his
laser engraver.
Yeah. And if you bought a tool there, you could laser engrave it with anything you want. And we actually saw some guys writing some crazy stuff on their tools.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I put I Love Daniel on mine.
Oh, that's what I did too.
Thank you.
Holy cow.
Much.
Wow, twinsies.
All right. All right. So moving on from that, Daniel's got a hot date with a 14-year-old tonight, so we don't want to keep him away from it.
Man. Had to go there, really.
Well, wow.
It's my daughter's 14th birthday. Very excited.
Yes.
Super awesome. And I met your daughter and your wife and your kids for the first time ever in Vegas, and they are the most sweetest little
they are
thing
good kids.
Ever.
Yep.
They're adorable.
Now you know why Daniel's such a goober. I mean, his whole family are like they're like the Swiss Family Robinson. They're so perfect.
Bunch of goobs.
A bunch of goobers.
We're fun, and we love Disney.
You are fun, and your Disney fetish is a little bit weird to me, grown man, but we won't go there as long as the kids enjoy it.
Right?
Yes. But Vince, I have so many families around me that they literally every year their family vacation every single year is going to Disney. That's it.
Well, and that should stop when the kids hit like 8.
No, man, these people are in their 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
So, 40s. Do you guys watch the Goldbergs?
No.
Oh my God, it's one of the greatest shows on TV. It's all about the 80s, and the guy that actually produces the show, it's about him and his life. He recorded his whole childhood. He knew he was going to be a Hollywood director, and they take his tapes and they make the show about his home movies. That's and he's into all the 80s TV shows and movies and stuff. And so the whole family's watching Vacation, right, where they go to Wally World. So the mom goes, okay, we're going on vacation, and they go to Disneyland. And the episode was so epic. It was so freaking funny. They even brought Christy Brinkley back.
Yeah, I saw the advertisements for that on TV.
Yeah, and they brought her back. And then they even brought Rusty back. Rusty was the security guard.
Instead of John Candy. Instead of John Candy, it was Rusty.
John Candy, yeah. And they get to Disneyland, and they did the whole slow-mo run towards Disneyland. There's nobody there, and he's there, and he's like, sorry, folks, park's closed.
Yeah.
And so she launches into this big elaborate explanation of all the stuff they went through to get there, and then he goes, "Well, I just meant it opens in 15 minutes."
No. Yeah. Well, there's a whole creepy dark side to Disney that, I only live 15 miles away from it. I hear the fireworks every night when they're going off, but there is some creepiness to it that it's like the land of pedophiles. Old pedophile men walk around Disneyland. It's creepy as hell.
Don't be ruining my freaking Disneyland.
Yeah. Well, just
Don't
careful.
be ruining his secret.
Yeah.
I mean, his
Dirty old
Megan's
man.
Law does not pertain to Disneyland. Let's just put it that way. So, anyways, let's move on. So I'm going to give Sheldon a call. I already told our listeners that we're going to contact him and kind of put a close to MTE Vegas and talk about the future of what's going on, and then talk about other things in the next upcoming episodes. We have a lot of good stuff coming up, and we just don't want to always sit here and talk about Mobile Tech Expo and bore you guys with that.
Hey, Vince, how do I sound?
You sound pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's because of our good friend John Renstrom was able to, he had a spare fancy mic, and he brought it to Vegas and handed it over to me.
Oh, thanks, John, if you're listening. Yeah, actually, you sound really good. So I'm going to call Sheldon. I'm guessing Daniel will walk in here.
Sheldon Cooper?
No, Sheldon Kaye. Let's see if he answers.
Hello?
Sheldon.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. It's Vince D'Alessandro calling.
How's life?
Life is good. You're on with Daniel Grom and Hudson Tansey. We want to pick at your brain for a little bit if you have a moment.
Thanks,
of course.
Sheldon, for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
So we want to first say, how is the show?
Hold on.
Your aspect.
First, let's say congratulations on it. What we feel is a very successful show in Vegas. We loved it.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And, we feel the same. We all, of course, had some doubts in the back of our head, but I think it really turned out better than expected. It seems like everyone had a really good time and got a lot of business done. So it's always what we're going for.
Yeah. And, talking to a lot of the vendors, they had really high expectations and they might not have been met, but the majority of them, they had, soft expectations, and it was blown out of the park for the majority of the vendors that were there.
Yeah. I mean, unbelievably, actually, I talked to a couple of tool companies at the end. They said they actually did better here than in Orlando. So,
yeah, I heard that too.
New faces and new customers. So that was the goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the facility was great. I thought South Point was great. It was very accommodating for everything, even though I almost got thrown out one night.
It's not an MTE unless Vince gets thrown out.
Yeah. So, note to self, attendees, do not bring your own alcohol into a casino bar. It's not allowed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they look friendly on that.
Yeah. No, they were super cool about it, but it looked like it was more menacing than it actually was.
Yeah, they were very nice.
Yeah. So like, don't throw it out. Bring it up to your room. Save that for later. But it looked like I was getting about ready to get arrested, which was funny. So Sheldon, we have a few questions for you. We kind of wanted to, just talk about Vegas briefly, and then close the door on that and move on to greater things like Orlando. So with Vegas, are you able to tell us attendance at all, or is that something that's more corporate secret stuff that you don't want to share yet?
No, honestly, it was somewhere over 1,000. We don't really, when we issue like a spouse badge or something, we don't really collect stuff on them. So I don't have a perfect number, but it was somewhere over 1,000 between the attendees, the vendors, and speakers and stuff like that. So,
but you're also not counting spouses and stuff, and because there's right.
No, that's why there was probably another 200 some people there that I didn't really count in our numbers. Right. Either like family or just friends not in the industry, or every once in a while we give a badge away to someone just kind of trying to check it out. Like, what's PDR? Why should I get into this? So I want to try to help them out.
Yeah. And I think that's where we were figuring about 1,100 to 1,200 people that showed up, which we just thought was fantastic.
Yeah. Really, it was better than my nightmare of no one being there, but not quite the 2,000 was really going for. But for, I'll take middle sometimes, and or those people are going to go tell their friends for next year. And that's how MTE started and started growing. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we want to commend you for that. It was a great show. Daniel, you had some questions about Vegas?
Well, one is, so we're definitely going to have a second one in Vegas next year.
Yep,
Yes?
That's what it looks like. We polled everyone at the show if you filled out our little survey card, and overwhelmingly people wanted Vegas, and overwhelmingly in quarter 3. So since we're staying in Vegas, I don't see any reason to leave the South Point. So I think we'll be right back where we were this year.
Very
Perfect.
Cool. Yeah.
If you guys out there, you're thinking about, definitely bring the family. There was lots of entertainment. I brought my family the first time. There's lots for them to do, and they had a great time.
Good. Now, Sheldon, I had a question for you. I was talking to you at the show at the PDR Tool Time booth, and one thing I think we were talking about, like, Vegas, or like, what about next year? Are we coming back? And I think you mentioned like thoughts of maybe moving it possibly to California so we can attract more detailers and things like that. Is that out of the picture now that Vegas was such a success?
I think it is. Yes, there are more detailers in Southern California, and by moving the show, we might just by default get some more. But like LA, like Convention Center or something like that, it's just not as sexy as Vegas. And now, after talking with the IDA, the International Detailers Association, they're fully on board for Vegas next year and just going to help us push it a little bit harder to those guys. So I think we'll do better in Vegas.
Yeah, because I think I would love to see more interaction between the detail and the PDR community. But because I think they do intersect a little bit there. So yeah, it'd be great to have more detailers in Vegas next year.
That's a really good point. Yeah, we were definitely a little bit lighter on detailers this year in Vegas. And, I had a comment from someone that it just didn't seem like the detailers and PDR guys were really meshing and networking as much. So that's something we're going to try to focus on a little bit in Orlando, to try to create some better networking opportunities, forcing people together, and they'll learn something or pick up some new business contacts, something. So, but we want to make sure that we don't have two camps that people don't talk to each other. That's not at all what the show's about.
No, exactly. Yeah, and I think I mentioned it to you too, and it's one of those things that a lot of us, we start our shops with detailers. Daniel has a detailer. I started my shop with a detailer, and things like that. And it's all auto reconditioning. It's all kind of under the same umbrella.
And actually, it's a perfect marriage, really. And you look at you could also do it with window tinters, but I think detailing is a better option because those are a customer that keeps coming back on a regular basis. So that puts that customer in front of you when they have that door ding, and it's here for a dent. Might as well do a detail. It's might as well do a dent on it too. So I do that a lot. Yeah, so guys need to look at, hey, detailers need to match up with dent guys, and dent guys need to match up with detailers, and then you share your expenses and makes it more profitable for everybody.
So Sheldon, we've been talking a lot about MTE, and so I think a lot of people are just kind of done talking about it because it's been going. But the reason why we want to bring you on is because we've talked a lot about it, but we haven't talked about the perspective from you, the one who actually started the MTE Vegas show and from behind the scenes. And from what I'm hearing, you think it's a success. And is there any other insights or anything you'd like to share from the other side, behind the curtain, to kind of help us?
Absolutely. So of course, when we start a show like this, we're trying to think long term about it. So how can we start bringing in, if it's other industries like window tinting that we're really just not getting the companies and the attendees for that. So trying to think of ways to grow the show in the future. And just, look at different aspects. Like this year in the hall, we added like some like tricked out Jeeps and cars and stuff, just to try to get a feel of people like that. Like if we go to SEMA, you see all the custom cars and stuff. And just, this group, we found they really don't care. They'd much rather go watch a demo or go to the tool time area and actually play with tools. So we're going to learn from that. And instead of bringing in custom cars, we might get the manufacturers to bring in stock cars of the brand new stock cars. So you guys can go see what the access is and kind of scope them out before you actually have to do a dent on them in the wild.
Yeah.
So, that's awesome.
Always trying to think a couple steps ahead on how we can just enhance the show and years down the road and try to take some small risks and kind of see where they play out. Like on the tool time area was a small risk, and people seem to really enjoy that. Mainly because you guys pulled it off really great. But
yeah, it worked out really good. Everyone enjoyed it. We're now coining it the PDR Tool Time Playground.
Oh, that's right. The playground.
The playground, yes. So that's how we're. Daniel came up with the idea of a playground because hey, come and play. So
and I think if we reach out and do a little bit better job on our end of telling the tool makers, hey, you can go do demos here for your customers, and especially if they have something new on an actual car, because there is definitely some tools that it's hard to set up something in your booth maybe that might be practical. So hopefully we're going to try to.
We're going to this year, even in Orlando, and earlier this year, we had like what we called a demo area, which is just a stage and a PA system for people to talk. But what we want to do is just get rid of that, bring it over to the Tool Time Playground, actually. So then just bring some PA there, and people can actually schedule out some demos. Let's try to promote it a little better, but just make that the interactive demonstration area.
Well, I think I want you in the booth too, Sheldon. I think you might have a knack for PDR. I know you're a car guy. I think I'd like to get a tool in your hand and show you.
Yeah, we can train
stuff.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, it's really funny you bring that up. I spoke with multiple companies at the show, some of the training institutes, about trying to get out to each of them, do a week with them. And I'm not going to quit my day job, but the more I can learn personally, the more intelligent I can be when I talk to you all, when I do marketing and sales and all that. So
that's awesome.
I don't know if everything's going to happen by Orlando, but by Vegas next year, you might see me competing in those pit trials.
Awesome. There's going to be some competition in Vegas. Sheldon's going to hit the road fixing some dents.
Actually, that brings up a good subject with the dent trials, that being different this year. What was the feedback on that?
It seems like everyone had a really great time. We maxed out. We had 3 cars, and the max amount of competitors we could get was 21, I believe it came out to be. And we filled all those spots, and it was some pretty fierce competition. And for those of you that weren't here, it was 3 dents. One door ding that was incredibly deep and painful looking, crease in a fender, and then a glue pull on a rail. And you had 90 minutes to complete all 3. So between the top 5, I guess the judging was incredibly close. So that's a really good competition.
Yeah, I talked to a few competitors.
Doing one.
Yeah, and is that going to carry over to Orlando, that type of setup?
No, we're going to keep the original Den Olympics pure. It'll just be 1 ding as best you can do in 45 minutes, I believe. Okay. But we did want to mix it up a little bit. And just for fun, we're going to try out, as I talked about, taking some risks, trying some new stuff. We're going to have 1 car where we're going to do a tag team competition. So 2 people sign up together, and then it's going to be 2 dents. I think it's going to be a crease in the door and a glue pull. Now, don't hold me to that yet. We're still kind of in brainstorm. But yeah, you can tag your partner in if you need a little finish up, or whoever's better at the pull type thing. So it should be kind of fun to see people get together and try some stuff together.
Yeah, and Andrew Kinsey and his crew there, his father and everything, and his wife, they're beautiful people. They put on a really good event within that, whether it's the PDR Dent Olympics or if it was the trials. I mean, it always
huge shout out.
Yeah,
the Lions Dent Repair out of Arlington. They're just really great people. We're so blessed to have them. Yeah,
they're good people, and always a smile on his face. And it's not an easy task to run that. I know, Terry Siegel used to do it before that, and before that there was. Our man Tom Price started it, so it's got a long tradition, and they seem to have it down to a good flow now.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, let's shift gears and talk about Orlando. And so this is a new venue for us, right?
Yep, that's correct. It's the Rosen Shingle Creek. Feedback was numerous that we need to keep the show and the hotel under one roof. So really search far and wide, because in case you guys aren't really aware, or January in Orlando is peak trade show season. So it's really hard to find dates at some of these venues, like the Caribe. We love the Caribe. We'd love to go back. They just don't have any dates for us. So Rosen Shingle Creek, easily as nice as the Caribe, if not a little bit nicer. Room rates similar to where the Caribe was, but everything's right there under one roof. Great bars, beautiful pool bar, and then just one huge nice bar inside. plus, lobby bars and stuff like that. So lots of business can get done there. Plus Expo Hall and the education rooms are literally attached to each other. So you can't beat that. We are going to be trying to
it looks like a twin to the Cree as far as architecture. I mean, if you look at the picture, it almost looks like the same.
That same steel
footprint. Yeah.
Now, I was looking at
pretty excited.
I have a little text message group with a bunch of other dent guys, and they were looking at the discounts. Is the 180 a night going to be the cheapest we can get at the host hotel per night?
Yeah, I think it's 170 or like 169 a night. And I realize that's a little steep. I mean, it's only $10 more than the Carib was. But I'm gonna try to do some stuff for you if you stay there. We're gonna have a hosted bar for some time after this show each day, and we're gonna try to mention that I wanted to bring some of the detailers and PDR and everyone together to kind of mingle a little more. So we're gonna have like an MTE hosted bar, and you get free drinks if you're staying at the hotel during that time, and have a couple other surprises for you in there that we'll be announcing in the next couple weeks.
Fantastic. Now registration is open for it, correct?
It is. I opened it right during Vegas, and we haven't released education yet. That will be either early next week or the week after. It is. I can't wait for everyone to see this education lineup we have. It is absolutely incredible. We have so many classes that we actually have. We're going to have classes during the show on Friday and Saturday as well. We have so many great people that want to teach and talk that we couldn't fit it all on the Thursday. So
Sheldon's going to have his own class on how to run a conference.
And how to fix dents. Hopefully he'll be trained by then.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do it in the time.
We're laughing on the inside because that's not true, Sheldon. You're not going to learn dents in a year.
yeah, understood.
All right, okay. That's a little.
Hey, but for $12,000, I can get.
But that's a little PDR inside joke. You'll get that in due time.
Yeah. I took a 1 week class.
What's that?
But I took a 1 week class on YouTube. How could I not be professional?
Exactly. Well, good. We're definitely looking forward to it. We're not going to keep you too much longer. Do you have anything else that you wanted to share with our listening audience?
No, just be on the lookout for that education schedule. It's going to be super hot. Last year and the year before, actually, the education day on Thursday did sell out, and I fully anticipate that again this year.
Okay.
And then also, we're going to be announcing a new keynote series we're doing called Legends, and I can't tell you much more than that yet. But I have some really cool people that are going to come speak in the morning. So, lunches. I think we're doing lunches. That's what we're doing.
And let's go over the cost. What's it cost to sign up?
If you want to do education day, it's in advance. It's $90. Expo only is $25.
Okay.
And then registration is the usual. What is it? $30, somewhere around there.
Yeah, 25 just for the normal, and then it goes up to 35 if you wait till you get on site. So just do it in advance. It's easier.
Gotcha. Very good. And who knows? Maybe there'll be coupon codes later on as it gets closer.
Yeah, I bet if you use code ToolTime, you'll save 15%.
Oh.
Assuming I programmed that when I get back to the office tomorrow.
All right. Well, that's good. Don't worry about it because this doesn't air till Tuesday, so you're good.
Oh, perfect. Yep, ToolTime will work.
Nice.
Perfect. We'll put that up on our
and we're going to do the playground, right?
Yep. The playground will be there. And also, I don't know if you saw the floor plan recently, but I added a PDR podcast studio. So I'm going to set up a little riser, have a TV camera filming, and then anyone that wants to come shoot a podcast at the show, I'll have a little spot for you to do that.
Very cool. That's
this
really
guy. This guy's thinking of things.
Yes,
dude. You know what, Sheldon? I'm so happy with you and how enthusiastic you're being and how easy you're making it and just being accommodating to all of us.
And I'm sure it's the crew behind Sheldon as well. It's not just Sheldon.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I have a great team. So not just me.
No, it's all Sheldon. It's all Sheldon. That's it. No one else.
But you've been really good to work with and accessible and stuff, and I just really appreciate you. You're really, because we all had our fears when this new company took over and stuff. We didn't know what to expect, and you've risen to the expectations.
Unfounded fears.
Is that what's that running down your cheek? What's that clear liquid running down your cheek, Daniel?
I'm crying. I'm crying.
I appreciate that. It means a lot. I mean, we really want to be here for the industry. So, any feedback, anything anytime you guys want to hit us up, we're out there for you. So.
And let me ask you this, because obviously you've done other trade shows and stuff like that. What do you think of like the dent removal, the PDR industry? Are we just unique, or do we just think we're unique?
No, honestly, every group has their unique quirks, but what's really, really great about the PDR mobile detailing, all the mobile tech guys, is just a lot of really good people that are really nice. And we run a whole call center for some of our other shows, and we never get angry people from mobile tech. So that's just wonderful.
Oh, good.
I mean, have you visited the bar after the show?
Yeah, generally people call us when they're sober, so the bar is a little different, but that's one of my favorite places to hang out. So.
Okay, here's
one last thing I wanted to ask. So Super Bowl does fall on the Sunday.
It does.
And we kind of touched on that a little bit. Is there anything that we can talk about that?
Yeah, we're going to throw it out there on social media, kind of see if people are going to stick around. You mentioned you might be able to pull some of your people too. And if people are going to stick around that Sunday, we will absolutely host a Super Bowl party and take over one of the bars. And, hopefully one of my teams will make it there. So we'll see. I'm pulling for the Saints this year. See how they do.
it's going to be the Bears. Sorry.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Bears. I would not mind that.
The Texans, boys. The Texans. It's our year.
49ers are going to do it.
Okay. Oh, we all have a different opinion.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I think it'd be really fun if people stuck around and we all got to watch the game together. So.
Yes. Yeah. Well, good stuff. Well, Sheldon, thank you so much for taking the time to take our call for a few minutes. And I know you're a busy man. We'll let you get back to your busyness.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for having me. I always love talking to y'all.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, take care, everybody.
Bye-bye. All right, bye now.
Later.
All right, Sheldon. I like Sheldon. He's a good
dude.
dude. Good dude.
Yeah, really good dude.
All right, so we're near the end of our podcast. Do you guys have any burning desires? It looks like Hudson is deep in thought with his burning desire.
To end it with that, we're gonna put out a survey to see who wants to stick around Sunday to watch the Super Bowl. I mean, either you're gonna get done Saturday and rush home and do the Super Bowl at home, or do you want to stick around? So I want to see how much interest we have in people sticking around one day to watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that'd be a late flight home, man.
Yeah, if you're trying to do it on Sunday, most people went home on Sunday, and if you're flying home on Sunday, you're going to be watching the Super Bowl on a little tiny 8-inch screen on the plane.
Yeah, but we're gaining hours when we're going to the West Coast. We're gaining hours. So,
yeah,
if you leave at 1, you land at 2.
Right,
and it's a 6-hour flight or something like that. I don't know.
What time's the Super Bowl usually? It's usually
in the evening,
like 3 o'clock.
Well, the West Coast is usually like 3-4 o'clock, something like that. Anyways, we'll talk about it later. We got a show to wrap up here.
What we really need to talk about is who's going to let me sleep on their couch in their hotel room so I don't have to spend $180 a night.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you could hook up with someone.
What do you mean, man? You got all that hail work, man. You got money.
Use some of that
true story. Listen here, true story. I have
inspection wedge money.
Every mobile tech I've ever gone to, I've just found a place to crash every single time.
Oh, you're pulling a Vince. Is that what you're doing?
Vince who provided me a place to stay this time.
I did.
I know. Every year I'm always just like, all right, I'm gonna find someone, or I'll just buy a room last minute.
If we had a suite, we'd probably do that, but we don't. I don't think there's suites available.
I don't think so.
Well, that's not very sweet.
No, that's not very sweet.
So anyways. So, okay. Well, thanks everyone for listening to episode 189.
And don't forget to level up your tools.
And keep it stiff.
And give me a couch to sleep on.
All right. Thanks for listening.
For current discount codes, visit pdrtooltime.com for sponsors like Hog Glue and Hog Pads, making your job easier. Found at ansonpdr.com.
Magnetech Mat, magnetic utility tool mat. Version 2 is now available.
And Mobile Tech RX, the app that makes you money.